Subterranauts is the newest, most exciting...
Start it! Start it! Start it! Please! Yo! Yo!
funny, varied, and genuinely enjoyable scrap collecting game that just released on Steam. Today, we will walk you through the basics, how to play the game, and tips that may not be immediately obvious without giving away too many spoilers. Many of the subjects here we will briefly touch on, as we plan to make a series of more detailed guides later. The goals of the game are simple. Collect a specific number of resources during each assignment phase, try not to die, and sell the resources to the Association of Scrap Allocation to progress. For each assignment period, you are taken by train to multiple stops to find resources. You then spend one day at each stop trying to find them. There are 4 resources: steel, copper, plastic, and rubber. And some scrap pieces that you will find contain multiple resources at once. It will show how many resources are contained in each scrap in the top right menu when holding the item. Once you have gone through all stops on the track, you will get back to the checkpoint where you can sell the scrap, assuming you found enough of each resource to finish the assignment. The stops increase in number, size, and difficulty as you get to later assignments. Fail an assignment, and, well, we'll let you see what happens. There are 2 computer terminals in the game, one at the checkpoint shop and one in the train, which is where you will start when you first launch the game. Do yourself a favor and type yes when the computer asks if you want a tutorial. Or you can be boring and do what everyone else does and ignore the tutorial because you are a professional who needs no help, just like we thought we were. Also, the chalkboard behind you when you first get in has some great guidance. But again, who needs that, right? Everything in the terminal, including routing the train to each destination, is done by terminal commands. You can use the help command to see all 6 pages of available commands on the train. You can also auto-complete some of these commands by starting to type and then clicking the tab key. The checkpoint only has 3 commands, but they are still helpful for buying upgrades later. The leave checkpoint command lets you begin the assignment at the first stop, Stop A. The map command on the train lets you see an image with the track layout, which stop you are currently at, which stop is next, and so on. Follow the branches from the red outlined stop, where you currently are, to the letter of the next stop. When it is time to leave that stop, you will then use Route To command and type the letter of the next stop that you found on the map. There are also commands that let you use a mini-map and security cameras to look into the facility from the terminal and guide your friends if you have radio communication. If you are bored of the default orange suit, the Change Suit command lets you change to a variety of colors. There are 3 major tools in the game that will give you an advantage in this absurdly dangerous job. Equipment has a dedicated slot with a unique icon in your inventory, like the scanner. You can only hold 1 equipment at a time. By default, you use equipment with the middle mouse button, and drop it with C. Items are tools like flashlights that take 1 of your 5 resource slots. By default, click the right mouse button to use an item and drop it with Q, just like dropping a resource. Both items and equipment will drop at your feet wherever you die. Upgrades are permanent changes that are always active for your whole team. You cannot lose an upgrade by dying, and you can only buy upgrades at the special terminal at the checkpoint. Both tools and resources do not weigh you down in this game or affect your ability to sprint, except for the Better Boots upgrade. Both items and equipment can be purchased from the train terminal with the shop command. It will then be delivered in a minute or 2 if you are at a stop, or at the next stop if you are at the checkpoint. The items come up the track by cart to the back of the train. Here are the most useful things we recommend buying as soon as you can. The scanner is an absolute priority and it only costs 90 bucks. It will highlight all collectible scrap in white and show the skeletons of nearby players and enemies. It will also tell you all the resources, items, and enemies within 6 meters in a menu on the top right of your screen. Better Boots should be your first upgrade, as it increases your sprint capacity. The flashlight is very useful for visibility and either runs on batteries or can be cranked with the left mouse button. You should insert the battery from your flashlight into the green charger to the left of the terminal before switching stops, as the battery takes time to charge. The helmet radio is a wonderful upgrade for multiplayer, as it allows you to hold down the H key and talk to your teammates at any time instead of needing a physical radio item. The minimap upgrade creates an on-screen minimap like the one at the terminal at all times while in the facility. Players are marked with green triangles and enemies are different sized red dots. However, it does not have loot shown like the terminal minimap does. At the terminal, when you start the game, there will be a scanner, flashlight, and camera, which you can pick up and use immediately. You will also start with $100, which you can use at the train terminal shop. It is recommended that you first buy a second scanner, as it is definitely the most useful equipment in the game. Outside the doors of the small room with the terminal, the train has its main engine car and a storage car. You can buy additional storage cars. Ladders can be climbed by simply walking forward against them, and the side doors of each storage car can be opened for easier access. Keep in mind that enemies can climb, and open doors allow enemies to path onto the train. For the sake of time, resources should simply be piled on the floor during assignments, but storage organization is recommended when you reach a checkpoint. There are 8 shelves per car, so we like to use 2 for each resource type, depending on which resource the scrap has the most of. Even if everyone dies, everything on the train is saved, including equipment, so if you are attempting a risky late-night rescue mission, consider leaving your scanner on the train. Each stop along the assignment track has an outdoor and indoor map, which both cycle through a variety of layouts. The full release of the game today has brought even more layouts to learn than the demo had. However, there are a few consistencies. As you are leaving the train, take a quick look out both windows. One side will have a yellow sign pointing towards the facility entrance, which is where you will want to begin. We believe it is most consistent to loot in the facility first, due to higher loot density and need for a scanner so that you can transfer the majority of loot back while it is still safe outside. When you are ready to search outside, scrap will be mostly concentrated on shelves inside buildings, but it can also spawn anywhere on the ground or on an old broken wreckage. So sometimes it is good to just get to a high place and look around. Besides the yellow signs, also be on the lookout for small towers near the train with a zipline to take you to and from the elevator. The elevator, with its lovely hotel music, is the entrance to the facility. As you go down, the shafts will appear with different colors depending on the variation of the interior. Indoor layouts in the game have very high variety. We don't want to give too much away yet, but there are consistencies in resource spawn locations. Always check the small boxes that appear on the floor and on shelves, as those seem to be the most common locations for scrap. Scrap can also spawn outside of boxes on the floor or on a desk. Any other objects can pretty much be ignored. Bring a scanner and flashlight if possible for highest efficiency, and we recommend that you leave the facility around 4 p.m. at the latest. We don't want to give away too many spoilers about monsters in this video, but we are planning monster guides in the near future. There are some core principles that can be applied to most of them though. Avoidance is key. There is not much combat in this game, and that is okay, as all monsters have a legitimate way of dodging them. As we said before, keep the train doors closed to keep monsters from pathing into the train. Also keep in mind that some enemies rely on sound rather than sight. Walking or running, when not crouched, and talking can both alert some enemies. It is rare that an enemy always knows where you are, even if it seems completely overpowered when you first meet it. The top left menu shows you the amount of each resource on the train at that current time compared to the amount left to sell for your assignment. The shredder, on the other hand, shows you how many resources you have already shredded compared to the total amount for your assignment. Once you reach the threshold, the light turns green, and you can pull the lever to sell. The assignments are very specific, and it can be easy to oversell, so we have some tips to avoid that. Sell multi-type resources first. and as you get close to the thresholds, you can begin selling the scrap that is specific to only one resource for the final adjustments. Also make sure to sell unused equipment or batteries and sell logs, as they are all worth small amounts of resources. You can use the log reader to the right of the terminal, but it is more efficient to just sell the log and use the read command. The command only requires the name of the log, which is given in the top right when holding it. Lastly, let's talk about settings. If you are dealing with lag, make sure to turn down your graphics settings and switch the blood simulator to off, as it creates tremendous lag on low-end graphics cards. VSync is also recommended to keep you from rendering insanely high frame rates for no reason. Customize your keybinds as you like, but we like to switch the use item and use equipment buttons since we are used to Lethal Company, where the scanner is the right mouse button. This would then make the middle mouse button turn on and off your flashlight. If you want to take some nice images, F1 hides your HUD, never press F3. We hope that this video helps you, and we plan to make more detailed guides on more specific areas of the game in the future. For now, we wish you the best in your scrap allocation.